goes on and on through all the stormy weather. Was a young black buck once, but now I'm double clever. They stack the chips against me, but I still keeps it licking. I break these fools off and move on to other missions. Got intuitions coming across like voodoo. Tell me the reason for hating, I thought you knew. My only dream is reaching the top. Don't stop, a young black and gifted and puff the green crop.
Hello everybody, thank you for joining me for episode number 4. It's called The Wizard of Oz. One day I was in the grocery store in the checkout line, and they have, how they have the magazines right there when you check out. Well, I was looking at the cover of these magazines, and they were celebrating The Wizard of Oz. And as I looked at the cover, it dawned on me that what I actually was looking at was the story of life. And what the 4 characters in that story represented was the 4 elements. Now, we all know the story of The Wizard of Oz. Dorothy living in Kansas, her and her dog, think she got in an argument or something with her auntie, runs up out the house, tornado comes, sweeps up the house or something. The next thing you know, she's in this land. And now the journey has started. And she meets up with a couple of friends, meets up with a couple of other characters, the lion, the scarecrow, and the Tin Man. And these 4 characters, along with the dog, go on this journey. What journey is that? The Wizard of Oz. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. How are they getting to the wizard? Everyone tells them to just follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road, and they will make it to the wizard. And so they do this. These 4 characters set out on this journey, following this yellow brick road, and on their journey, they meet up with a nemesis, the Wicked Witch of the West. And the Wicked Witch of the West was trying to get them. And the Wicked Witch of the West put them through trials and tribulations on their way to get to the wizard. They make it to the wizard. All right, they all happy that they finally made it to the wizard. And something happens. They find out that this all great Wizard of Oz is actually a fraud. And what everyone was telling them he could do for them, he actually couldn't do anything for them. Wow. What do? What does all this represent? Well, one thing happened to them on their journey and during these trials and tribulations. And that's kind of what I want to get into. Now, I said each character represented an element. We all know the 4 elements. There's earth, water, fire, and air. Dorothy represented earth. The Tin Man represented water. The lion represents fire, and the scarecrow represents air. Tin Man, water. What was he looking for? A heart. The lion, what was he looking for? Courage. Scarecrow, what was he looking for? A brain. And Dorothy wanted to get home. So, on this journey This is actually what these characters were trying to find. Now let's dig in a little bit further. Let's take the Scarecrow. Scarecrow was looking for air. What is air? Air is a couple of key words dealing with air. Think intellect and communication. New ideas, movement, curious, restless, stimulation, rational, versatile, verbal, quick, alert, social, information collection, information processing, unemotional, objective, truth, realism, smart thinkers, abstract reasoning, analyze, synthesize, probe, perceptive, clever, inventive. These are a few words to think about when you think of air element. And this is what is symbolized in the Scarecrow as looking for a brain. Air are freedom thinkers. Signs that are air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, by the way. Let's go to fire. What is fire? Well, the lion was fire. He was looking for courage. Keywords to think about when you think of the fire sign. Think spirit and energy. Think power, light, creative, enthusiasm, playful, trendsetters, charismatic, high ideals, broad vision, passion, assertive, inspiration, courage, initiative, primal life force, fiery, spontaneous, just a zest for life. And the lion was looking for courage. And that is represented in the fire sign. Let's go to the Tin Man. He was looking for a heart. What is heart? When you think heart, you think feelings, right? Well, water keywords are emotional sensitivity and intuition. Some keywords to think about when you think water, think quiet, withdrawn, intense emotions, sensitivity, romantic, sentimental, psychic, sympathetic, empathize, fluid, flowing, wavering, nurturing. Think of a mother to a child. Tin Man, he was looking for a heart, emotions. And the main character, Dorothy, she was looking for earth. Keywords for earth would be form and structure and foundation. Think business builders, dedicated, responsible, you can count on, they follow through, realistic, loyal, patient, and stable. All about what is solid. Earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. I forgot. Fire signs, Leo, or Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And it's funny how they used a lion for the character to represent fire. And the water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Now, these four elements went on this journey, and all these characters thought they were missing these pieces of themselves. Now, the last podcast I did was Black Wolf, White Wolf, and just referring to that, if you look at the Wicked Witch of the West, she would be representative of the Black Wolf or the opposition. And as I explained, if everything in our life is hunky-dory, we may never evolve. It may never push us to do anything. If you look at all stories, there is the hero's journey. The hero has to have a nemesis. So, in the story of the Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch of the West is the opposition, pushing these characters to find these elements. Now, what is Oz, what is the Yellow Brick Road, and what is everyone saying follow the Yellow Brick Road? Let's bring this personal to someone's life. Little do you know or realize, you've been programmed. You've been programmed with other people's ideas, other people's thoughts, other people's goals, other people's insecurities and failures on what they didn't do. And so they try to program it into you. Now, as we grow up, everyone is giving us advice. Hey, you should do this. You can be that. Hey, you should go to this school. You can do this. Hey, maybe you should jump into this. You can do that. And a lot of times we look at these people, especially in a circle, when we really respect them as their thoughts and stuff like that, we tend to follow what they say. All right? And so that is the Yellow Brick Road. Following what others say, that for you to get to a place of success, a place of happiness. Now, what is Oz? What is the fraud? I have talked to and seen, and we have all seen, that person who gets to that place and is unhappy. Have you ever seen that person on the outside? We look at them and like, wow, they are successful. They have this, they have that, they have this type of occupation. But then you actually talk to that person, and that person is unhappy. That person that hates their job, that person that hates their career. Why is that? Why is that person unhappy? Why does that person hate their job? It's because they got to Oz and found out it was a fraud. Hey, you told me if I would be a lawyer, I would have this type of job, I would have this type of money. But guess what? I'm here, and I actually hate this job, but I'm stuck. Well, I think I'm stuck. And so I have to do this for the rest of my life. Hey, you told me to to go and be an accountant. I'm an accountant. Guess what? I hate doing numbers. I'm stuck. Eyes is a fraud. Now, the question you really need to be asking, and the question that you really need to figure out, whose yellow brick road are you following? Are you following the yellow brick road of others' programs? Or are you following your true yellow brick road? What is true for you? And guess what? When you do follow your true yellow brick road, when you get to eyes, you will find out that it actually is not a fraud. Now let's get back to the story and the opposition. When these characters made it to Oz, one thing happened to them that they really didn't realize. The Tin Man found his heart. The lion found his fire. The Scarecrow found his brain. Dorothy, she eventually made it back home. By the way, home is actually centered inside yourself. But guess what? These characters found out. These elements that they thought they were missing, it wasn't missing at all. They never were pushed to find it within inside themselves, because that's where it was, inside themselves. And the wicked witch of the West pushed them, forced them to find those elements within inside themselves. Now, to bring it all home, and one thing you really may not realize, that even though it was 4 characters in the story on this journey, those 4 characters was really one person, but 4 elements of this one person. And the problem was these elements were out of balance with inside herself. And she needed to find balance with inside herself with all 4 elements. And the only way she's going to find balance with those elements is, first, she has to identify her yellow brick road, as in know thyself. And once you figure out and identify your yellow brick road and know thyself, then you could start on your journey, and you will actually realize why those wicked witches of the West has been coming in, manifesting in your universe. The oppositions that have been coming to you, you will understand it. You will realize it. You will make peace with it. And you should learn to balance it within inside yourself. There's ways in astrology to figure out where you're actually weak at. When you think of the 4 elements, think of a car and 4 tires. Each tire represents an element. Now, what type of ride are you going to have when all four tires are inflated at different pressures? The ride is going to be bumpy. It's going to be riding down the street with a bunch of potholes. I want to ride on a good paved road, the black tar, new roads with all four tires at the same pressure. That's a smooth ride. And with these new cars, you will notice the smoother the ride, the smoother the road, because these new cars got these gauges that you could see like how many miles per gallon you're getting as you drive. Notice when next time you drive, if you have this type of gauge on your car, notice the miles per gallon you're getting on the different roads that you ride on. The smoother the road, the better the ride, and the better miles per gallon you will get. Now, let me get personal for a second. I had to look inside myself. There's some things that you can look at astrologically and find out where you are on the element schedule table. And I had excessive amounts of air. And I was low on water, fire, and earth. Well, earth, I had more earth, but I was really low on fire and water. And so I had to deflate my air. I had to pump up my water, fire, and earth. How did I do that? One thing that people don't realize is astrology is active. It's not passive. To actually evolve, you have to put in the work. There are things you have to do. And so one of the ways I worked on my fire is exercise. I move my body. I go for a walk every day. One of the ways I worked on my water and earth is I actually purchased a dog, which helps me, with nurturing. I'm nurturing my dog, and it makes me walk every day. I bought the dog to help give me an excuse to make me go and walk. And being outside in the elements, I walk outside every day. I don't do the treadmill and all that. So that's connecting with the earth and all that stuff. Another thing that I had to do to connect with my water, I had to deflate my air, and I got into meditation. What is meditation? Long story short, it's actually trying to stop thought. And when thoughts live in the head, feelings and emotions live in the body. And so when you stop thought, it makes you focus on the body. Also, I had to get rid of some of my air, and the way I did that is started a blog and started writing and sharing my thoughts. I'm a consistent weight. I'm not on any diet. I eat what I want. I just try to keep my keep balance and working on my elements. And for the most part, it's working out. We all are evolving and growing. One thing we have to realize is not everybody is on the same time schedule. We all grow and evolve at our own rate and pace. Yeah. So, one thing that you can do is figure out your yellow brick road. Figure out your element. Figure out what you need to pump up, what you need to deflate in this matrix we call life. I'd like to thank you for joining me for episode number 4, The Wizard of Oz. If you need help with your element distribution, feel free to contact me on I Am Astrology Readings. You could book a reading. You can order a t-shirt. You can read my blogs. You can contact me, video, text, all that stuff. Instagram, Facebook. I Am Astrology Readings. You could hashtag Astrology Ride of the Day. My blogs should come up. Again, thank you for joining me. And as always, know thyself and balance your energy.
It goes on and on. 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 And it don't stop. And it don't stop. And it don't stop. It goes on and on through all the stormy weather. Was a young black buck once, but now I'm double clever. They stack the chips against me, but I still keeps it licking. I break these fools off and move on to other missions. Got intuitions coming across like voodoo. Tell me the reason for hating. I thought you knew. My only dream is reaching the top. Don't stop. A young black and gifted and puff the green crops.
It's that N-I-G-G-A from around the way. I got to get paid. It goes on, so haters can't stop my flow. They didn't know a nigga gets tactical, plotting schemes with the means to clock green, making it seem like it's magical. But when my cash unflows, it makes the world go round. It makes the world go round. Check the sound, Mr. Miller, double E, representing CE. It's all about the money in